Hello, Yvonne. We're here to talk about Bitcoin, aren't we? And I know so little about it, but my yoga teacher was talking about it the other day. So, can you tell me what it actually is? I know you've written a book about it. So, what is Bitcoin?
Yes. Well, Bitcoin, there's a lot of technicalities which we won't go into right now. But in essence, it's not a physical currency, it's a digital or what they call a cryptocurrency. So you don't get notes like dollars, yen, or pounds or euros. Basically, it's a seamless transfer of value from a donor, somebody who's actually paying the money to the receiver. So each one will get a big string of code, rather like a big long, email address. And basically it's a transaction then that goes with this piece of code. Each one's got a piece of code. And so the value is actually transferred between these two pieces of code. And yeah, it's called a digital or cryptocurrency, and in essence, that's what it is. And it basically then cuts out the middleman, i.e., the banks or any of these exchange, Western Union type people.
Okay. So, is it something we could take seriously as an investment?
Well, I believe it is. It's still in its early days. I mean, at this point, it's still experimental, and certainly, I think if you're looking at it from an investment point of view, if you're a cash investor, so you've never gone into the stock markets or anything over and above a cash term deposit, then it's probably not for you, and I would stick with that. But if you're somebody that is happy to take on a little bit of risk, and have a tiny portion maybe of your portfolio in something which could make you a lot of money or could indeed go to nothing, then it's I think it is worth seriously considering as an investment of the future. Yeah.
And what other uses could Bitcoin have?
Well, I'm very interested in its possible application for the charitable giving community. As it is at the moment, we know that, if you want to make a donation to some charitable organisation in Africa or India or somewhere else, that, quite a hefty chunk gets taken out by the bank or the transferring agency. So I'm very interested in this possibility that it could really revolutionise the charitable giving, because the donor who's actually making the donation could be directly in touch via these strings of code with the receiver. And as long as they've got a mobile phone, I mean, we even know that even the Maasai warriors and things nowadays have even got mobile phones. So even people that have been excluded from having bank accounts in the past because the banks don't think they've got enough money to warrant having a bank account, as long as they've got a mobile phone with something like a digital currency such as Bitcoin, then I think there's a lot of possibilities there.
Okay. And if Bitcoin was adopted rather like PayPal has been, how much would a Bitcoin be worth?
Okay, well, at the moment, the Bitcoin is sort of hovering at around 560 US dollars per Bitcoin. But if you can remember back, 15, 20 years ago even, PayPal, people were really scared of PayPal and, well, what the heck is that? That's now became very mainstream. And PayPal is now worth, its business anyway, is worth well over $22 billion. So if Bitcoin was to be adopted on that sort of scale, each Bitcoin could possibly be worth in excess of $1,900 a piece. So yeah, if it can break into that sort of mass adoption, then certainly it could go an awful lot higher than it is now.
Great, thanks so much. And there is so much more I want to know. I want about the miners. There's so many things I want to know. Where can I find out about?
Well, as you mentioned at the start, I have just written a book recently, and it's up on Amazon, and it's also in Kindle format.
Okay.
And that's called Bitcoin, Millionaire Maker, or Monopoly Money. And so you can look there. I also contribute to 3 different blogs on Bitcoin, and I'll put the addresses on here once we're finished. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks, Yvonne.